I have had, friends and now that I'm, in my 40s,
Yeah.
people get divorced.
Yeah.
Of course, that's where they go, right? The first place you
Yeah.
go is like one of the dating apps. I haven't used a ton of them, but, I've seen, business partners and other people use them,
Yeah.
over the course of my life. And what are the actual stats on a guy actually meeting a girl on there that they have for long term, that they end up getting a long-term relationship on?
Well, let me give you some of the basic stats. There are 9 times as many men as women on Tinder.
Well, I would figure that.
9 times as many men.
Wasn't that the whole thing with Bumble though? That was supposed to be a woman picks the guy, like
It's
more
so
women
insane,
than.
bro. Yes. Listen, the average woman matches with 10% of the right swipes she has. The average woman. Really attractive women, it's 100%. The average woman matches with 10%, meaning out of 1,000 right swipes, she matches with 100 guys. And we're including obese women because the majority, 70% of the United States right now is overweight. 40% are obese. So women, average looking women, match with 10% of the people they right swipe with. Men, it's 6 out of 1,000. It is women on average have 16 times more luck on these dating apps than women do. And here's where it gets even crazier. The top 10% of men are the same as women, meaning the top 10% of men also match with 10% of the people they right swipe on. It's happened is dating apps are very good for women trying to get with a very attractive man, and it's very good for attractive men. What happens though is those women often will go on dates with these attractive men, not realizing these guys have unlimited options. They'll end up having Victor, the VIP host. He doesn't call them back. And then you're like, screw this dating app. Then they get off. And now we go from 7 guys for every girl. Now it's 8 guys for every girl. Now it's 9 guys for every girl. And that's where we are with dating apps. Dating apps have become this trap where whenever you see an attractive woman on there, I'm telling you almost always, this is a sex worker, a woman with mental disorder, or something to that effect. That's usually what's happening. Now, I'm not saying that attractive, young, well-balanced, like mentally stable women don't get on the app. I'm saying they get on the app once.
The odds of them.
Well, no,
just
they've all been on the app once. They get on the app, they have a horrible experience with it, and then they get off. And that's generally what happens. Of course, there's certainly exceptions to this. But what I'm saying is, like, again, if you're a man and let's say I have 2 kids and I want to date a woman and she has 2 kids as well, and we want to do like the Brady Bunch thing, a dating app might be a good place to go. I'm not telling you that that's not the case, but I'm saying for the most part, for most, I host Swimsuit USA's World Championship. I had 70 girls there. I interviewed probably half of them. I said, how many of you girls are on dating apps? And I had girls literally look at me and say, I'm a 23-year-old hot girl. Why would I be on a dating app? That's what they would actually say to me. It's incredible. And then I would ask them the other question, which is really incredible. How many times has a guy walked up to you at a bar and then got your number and you ended up dating him? And all of them told me never. It had never happened to them. And the women that I talked to that were over 35, 38, all of them said, yes, this happens to them all the time. So the going up and approaching women, I think seems to be something that an older generation of women seems to be way more comfortable with, and a younger generation is like, ew, no. Like they're just used to athletes sliding into their DMs, and it's really polluting the mentality that they have. Dude, there's endless studies showing that people don't go out as much. There's endless studies showing that attractive women just don't go out into public places anymore. And that's why my strategy is to create incredible locations and environments that cause beautiful women to come. And now it's 7 girls for every guy. They're competing for your attention. And now you get to choose which unbelievable woman you want to date, as opposed to what the rest of it is I go on a dating app and it's 9 guys for every girl. And I'm just like, please go on a date with me. Please, please. That's the majority of the male existence right now in the United States.
Where do women, good women, or, pretty women, good women, where do they meet most of the guys that they end up in a long-term relationship?
Yeah, it goes. So let's just say I had 100 women here, and we would consider them good women. Just for whatever reason, whatever your stance for good women is, they would go, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me. I saw them on social media. A girl introduced me, a guy introduced me, a girl introduced me, a girl introduced me, a guy introduced me, and then I saw him on social media. Then I saw him on social media, a girl introduced me, and out of 100,
it's always
we get
friend.
Yes,
of a
out
friend.
of 100, we might get 2 that met him on a dating app, maybe 2. But out of 100, probably more than half of them is going to be a female introduced them. maybe 30 or 35% a man introduced them, and the other 15% would be that they saw a guy on social media who slid into their DMs. And when this happens, a girl or a guy introduced them. It's also, I've had girls be like, yeah, I was at this party and this guy walked up and started talking to me, and I was like, well, like, how'd you get to the party? It's like, oh, it was my friend's birthday. I was like, okay, was the guy and you both friends with the person whose birthday was? Yeah, he was. He goes, when he went up and talked to you, did he have a friend with him? I was like, well, actually, yeah, his sister came up and introduced me to him. Whenever I get the background of it, there's always a common person. This is how humans have existed throughout history. We don't know, like, again, you get recommendations or testimonials about who to have on your podcast, or which real estate agent to use, or which barber to use. You use word of mouth testimony from people that you know. I don't understand how business owners understand the incredible power of word of mouth, but somehow dating coaches don't do this. I don't grasp this concept. They just want you to go up to the girl and tell her, I'm interested in you. You have pretty green eyes. Let's go on a date. I'm like, no, what I'm going to do is, in that city that I live in, I'm going to be friends with all the girls in the city. I'm going to throw some of them their birthday parties. I'm going to I'm going to have comp dinners with a bunch of girls. And then we're going to go to the SPCA, or we're going to go to like a soup kitchen, and we're going to volunteer together. And when we do so, I'm going to have where every single girl in the city knows me, so that when I do meet a girl, she already knows all about me before. And now it's not a cold approach, it's a warm approach. And if you're a man and you've ever been in a situation where you go up and talk to a girl and she already knows everything about you, that's not dating anymore. She's always going to say yes when you ask her out. It's just night and day mentality, and it is so easy to execute everything that I just said. And the efficacy of it is so powerful, but yet it bothers people so much because it trumps traditional dating advice. Traditional dating advice is tremendously good dating advice if you are incredibly good looking. If you are 6'3" Australian with tattoo sleeves, six-pack abs, and you work at Thunder from Down Under, 100% traditional dating advice for men is a great idea. Go up to a woman and be direct. If you are not that person, if you know you're watching this and you're not what's considered a traditional good-looking guy, and you try the same advice, you are only watching this video and other videos and on YouTube trying to get dating advice because you know that advice doesn't work. Traditional dating advice for most men doesn't work. And part of the reason why it doesn't work is because social media has made it so that women believe that they can get a certain amount. So just so we're clear, men are delusional in that men watch pornography and it's caused them to have these perverted beliefs about what they can get from women. It's destroyed them. But it's also created this situation where women are getting attention from men, and they believe that attention can commute into or transmute into long-term relationships. Women believe they can get long-term commitment from men that they cannot get long-term commitment from. And because of that, because they had sex with a 10, they think they can date a 9. And when they get into these situations over and over again, next thing you know, they're 38 years old and they just didn't want to settle because none of these guys were good enough. And we end up with the lowest marriage rate in recorded history, which is where we are now.
Is that really the stat now?
Correct. 6 women out of every 1,000 are getting married. That's what's happened. And all these things have conflated, and partially has to do with social media. We legitimately cannot be happy with what we have because we keep seeing things that we believe are better. By the way, these AI influencers are making it even worse.
You're also seeing a kind of a filtered life.
Of course. You're seeing a filtered life. And by the way, I'm not telling you this because I'm the one not getting picked over. I'm telling you this because I have a mid-tier brand where I coach men, and I could go on dates 14 nights a week if I wanted to. Like, I have never, at 47 years old, I have never had more women under the age of 25 ask me out than at any point in my life than right now. And I don't wear an expensive watch. I drive an old beat up Lexus. Why is it? Is because they keep seeing me on social media, and I'm friends with all their female friends. And then I have so many good testimonials that whenever I go out to anything, I just have no trouble dating. Why is it that the good girl and the bad girl both want to date me? I'm 47. If you read any statistical study, I'm out of shape. Women don't like guys that are this old. I'm too old for them. They wouldn't be attracted to me. But you go on my social media and it's like very clear that that's not true. Why is that happening? It's happening because what I'm telling you is the truth. Make choice copying in humans, understanding as a man, you have to maintain your own value and stop giving your value away to a woman who did nothing to earn it. If you can maintain these boundaries, then you'll absolutely do extremely well. Unless you will listen to like Chris GQ Perry, Will Hitchens, or Justin Baldoni and their nonsense advice on like, you need to just be more vulnerable with women you just met. It's utter and complete nonsense, and it's hurting men. It is legitimately hurting men.
I met my wife through a friend.
Yeah, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
His friends, the two of our friends were getting married. I was friends with the guy. She was
Weddings
friends with
are
the girl.
incredible places to
Yeah,
meet.
it wasn't the
people
wedding,
in
but
it.
it was the pre
Sure.
get-togethers and
Sure, of
parties
course.
and all that stuff. But yeah, I do see that, and I almost see it, like you said, it might be more now with social media that the friend thing is that much more important because now, like, they have so much stuff coming at them all day long. They don't even know who's
Correct.
legitimate or not, right? It's like, is this guy crazy? Is he a player? Is he
Correct.
this? And it's like, I'd take the recommendation of one of my friends because, she knows all of his friends and she's actually
Yes.
vouches for him a little bit. So it's like your chances of maybe making it work are much higher than you just dating somebody off a dating app or the internet.
Exactly. On dating apps, the most attractive 4.5% of men will crush you. They crush you. They crush me. They crush all of us. They do. The data is very clear on this. So going into that context, you're always going to be competing in what's called an unfamiliar. Remember, I talked about a familiar environment before. This is an unfamiliar environment. So this is cold approach, direct game pickup would be an unfamiliar environment, or dating apps would be an unfamiliar environment, or just like going up to a girl on the dance floor at a nightclub. That'd be an unfamiliar environment. When I get girls into a familiar environment, so what's happened is, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this, but it's like if you just go on social media all the time and every influencer you see, all of them have McLarens, Lamborghinis, Ferraris.
It's really hard to not see that.
Yeah,
when you get
it's
on
hard to
social
see
media.
it because
Yeah.
then when you're looking at your business and the correct decision is for you to get a Toyota Corolla and put it under your business's name, it doesn't make sense because you keep seeing the phantoms and you can't square the circle. So it perverts what you think a normal car is. And then you start spending outrageous sums of money when your business isn't even doing $100K a month. You're spending outrageous sums of money on a car to try to look like these other people.
I think that's the social media stuff. I think there's 90% good just
Yeah, of
because
course.
there's access to information, right?
course.
I mean,
Agreed.
like
These
access,
AI models are absolutely going to change the world. Yes, absolutely.
access to information,
Yes.
even for somebody that lives in a small town,
Yes.
gets advice from their parents that's bad advice just because they don't know. I do think that access to information is good, which is 90%, but you're always going to have, when something comes out like this, even AI, you're going to have 10% that's probably going to go a little bit bad. And yeah, you do see once you click on a couple pictures of anything that you're interested in, you start to get reinforced those pictures all day long.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it starts skewing you like, man, maybe I don't have this yet. And maybe I'm supposed to have this right now when I'm 21 years old. And it's almost impossible.
No.
Very rarely happens. Not saying it doesn't, but again, goes back to that, like your odds are just so low that you shouldn't strive for that.